Question 1. With respect to business owners' policies, Olivia owns the small yoga studio in Rhode Island and recently purchased a BOP policy. During a severe windstorm, a section of her building's roof collapsed, damaging the yoga equipment and causing 2-week closure. Olivia immediately filed claim under her BOP policy. The insurer agreed to pay for the building damage and equipment, but denied her claim for lost income. She is confused, believing income losses covered was the most likely reason her business income claim was denied. A. Business income coverage was not included automatically and must be added by endorsement. B. Business income coverage applies only after 30-day waiting period. C. Business income coverage is only available if the business has at least 25 employees. D. The policy excludes coverage for windstorm-related income losses. Answer. Correct answer, A. Explanation. In Rhode Island, the business owner's policy BOP typically includes business income coverage automatically, but it may depend on the specific insurer's form or endorsement selected. Some insurers may require separate selection or a special endorsement, particularly when customizing coverage limits. In this case, if Olivia's policy lacked the income coverage endorsement, the insurer's denial is valid. The ISO BOP Form B03 includes business income and extra expense coverage by default, but insurers may use modified forms. The other choices are incorrect because there's no minimum employee requirement. C. No 30-day waiting period by default. B. And windstorm is a covered peril under the special form unless excluded specifically. D. Question 2. From a practical standpoint, Mr. Patel's commercial warehouse was damaged when a nearby construction crew accidentally caused an explosion by improperly storing gas canisters. His insurer paid for the damages and then pursued the construction company for reimbursement. What principle allows the insurer to recover its payment from the negligent third party? A. Coinsurance. B. Subrogation. C. Contribution. D. Indemnity. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Subrogation is the legal right of an insurer to recover the amount it has paid to the insured from a third party who caused the loss. This is an equitable principle aimed at preventing double recovery by the insured and holding the responsible party accountable. The insurer steps into the shoes of the insured to sue or claim against the wrongdoer. This right is generally outlined in the conditions section of the insurance policy and is recognized under Rhode Island law and common insurance principles. Contribution, C, refers to distributing losses among insurers, and indemnity, D, is the principle of restoring the insured, not recovering from others. Question 3. Demonstrated by the following situation, Maria owns an auto repair shop and keeps customer vehicles overnight. One evening, a fire damages 5 vehicles left in her care. She files a claim under her commercial general liability policy, but the insurer denies coverage for the cars. Maria believes she was insured for all business risks. Which type of insurance would have properly covered the customer vehicles? A. Business auto liability. B. Bailey's coverage. C. Garage keeper's insurance. D. Inland marine policy. Answer. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Garagekeeper's insurance provides coverage for damage to customers' vehicles while in the care, custody, or control of an auto-related business such as repair shops, parking garages, or service stations. It fills the gap not covered by CGL, which excludes personal property, and the insured's custody or business auto liability, which covers owned autos, not customers. Bailey's coverage, B, is broader and typically used dry cleaning or warehouse operations. The garage keeper's policy can provide coverage on legal liability, direct excess, or direct primary basis. Rhode Island regulations recognize this as standard endorsement on commercial auto policies for service businesses. Question 4. In the context of insurance contract formation, a commercial insured failed to disclose that the building being insured contained outdated electrical wiring. Later, a fire occurs and the insurer denies the claim after an investigation reveals this information was omitted from the application. Which legal doctrine best supports the insurer's denial? A. Representation. B. Concealment. C. Indemnity. D. Adhesion. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Concealment refers to the intentional failure to disclose a material fact during the application process. In commercial property insurance, failing to record known hazards, such as outdated wiring, affects the insurer's ability to accurately underwrite and price the policy. This is grounds for rescission or claim denial under both common law and Rhode Island statutes. Representations say a statement's believed to be true, not guaranteed, while indemnity C relates to claim payments and adhesion D refers to the take it or leave it nature of insurance contracts, not fraud or misrepresentation. Question 5. Through the lens of policy exclusions, Sam owns a landscaping business and is sued when a lawnmower malfunctions and damages a client's imported tile patio. The client seeks reimbursement for the cost of tile replacement. Sam files claim under his commercial general liability (CGL) policy. Under standard CGL terms, what is the most likely outcome? A. The claim will be denied due to the care, custody, or control exclusion. B. The claim will be paid in full under coverage A. C. The claim will be denied under the completed operations exclusion. D. The claim will be paid only if the tile was not imported. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Under coverage of the CGL policy, the care, custody, or control exclusion bars coverage for property damage to items the insured is directly handling or working on. If the tile patio was under Sam's control while mowing around it, the insurer could deny coverage based on this exclusion. The completed operations exclusion C applies post-completion, which is not the case here, whether the tile was imported. D is irrelevant. Rhode Island recognizes standard is CGL forms and exclusions are interpreted strictly, especially when they are clear and unambiguous. Question 6. The fundamental question is, why must insurable interest exist at the time of loss in a commercial property policy? A. To prevent speculative risk and moral hazard. B. To ensure the insured receives tax benefits. C. To allow subrogation rights to be exercised. D. To fulfill state licensing requirements. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. An insurable interest means the policyholder must face financial loss if the insured event occurs. It is required at the time of loss, not necessarily at policy inception. This principle deters speculation, prevents moral hazard, and ensures the insured has a legitimate stake in protecting the property. Without it, the contract would be viewed as a wager, which is illegal and void under public policy and Rhode Island law. Subrogation C concerns recovery after payment, and licensing D is unrelated to this principle. Question 7. Examining the consequences of underinsurance, Diego owns a warehouse insured for $400,000 with an 80% coinsurance clause. After a partial fire loss of $100,000, it's discovered the actual replacement cost of the warehouse was $700,000. How much will the insurer pay on this loss, ignoring deductibles? A. $71,429. B. $80,000. C. $100,000. D. $57,143. Answer. Correct answer A. Explanation. Coinsurance calculation. Text insurance carried. Div text RCV times text coinsurance percent times text loss equals 400,700,000.8 text equals frac 400,000 700,000 times 0.8 times 100,000 equals 700,000.8 million 400,000 x equals 400 billion 160,000 equals 71,429 equals frac 400,000 560,000 times 100,000 equals 71,429 equals 560,400,000 x equals 71,429. The insurer will pay $71,429, penalizing Diego for underinsuring his property. Coinsurance encourages policyholders to carry insurance close to full value. Rhode Island commercial property policies generally follow ISO property forms, which mandate coinsurance clauses unless waived. Question 8. Considering the evidence, a retail store owner discovers that one of her display cases containing red jewelry is empty after a busy weekend. There are no signs of forced entry or employee theft, and surveillance footage is inconclusive. What is the most likely reason her commercial crime policy would deny the claim? A. The items were not scheduled. B. Employee dishonesty coverage was not included. C. The loss qualifies as mysterious disappearance. D. There was no bodily injury. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Mysterious disappearance refers to the unexplained absence of insured property where no evidence of theft or loss cause exists. Most crime insurance forms, including as a CR01, exclude mysterious disappearance unless specific endorsements are added. Scheduling A relates to inland marine and bodily injury. D is irrelevant. Even if employee dishonesty B was excluded, the lack of evidence of any dishonesty renders that moot. Rhode Island insurers adhere to national crime policy guidelines unless modified. Question 9. While examining liability policies, a real estate broker gives incorrect zoning information to a commercial buyer who then discovers the property can't be developed as planned. The buyer sues the broker for financial damages. The broker's CGL carrier denies the claim. Which type of policy would be needed to cover this claim? A. Commercial general liability CGL. B. Directors and officers insurance. C. Professional liability errors and omissions. D. Umbrella liability. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Errors and omissions. EO insurance is designed to cover professionals who provide advice or services. The broker's incorrect representation is professional service and the resulting financial harm is not covered under CGL policy, which typically excludes professional services. DO. B. Covers corporate officers, not real estate heirs. Umbrella liability D only applies after underlying coverage exists, which does not here. Rhode Island law recognizes the unique role of EO for licensed professionals like real estate agents. Question 10. The core principle of commercial property insurance is indemnity. Which of the following best describes its purpose? A. To compensate the insured for the market value of the loss. B. To return the insured to the same financial position before the loss occurred. C. To guarantee profit on insured assets. D. To limit the insurer's liability. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The principle of indemnity means the insured should be made whole, but not better off. After loss, it prevents the insured from profiting from insurance and aligns with the contract's intent. Compensation is typically based on RC or RC depending on the policy. Market value A is rarely used. Profiting from insurance C violates public policy. Limiting liability D refers to policy limits, not indemnity itself. Rhode Island follows standard insurance doctrines regarding indemnity to reduce moral hazard. Question 11. When analyzing coverage for business autos, Zeiss Plumbing Company recently added a new delivery van but forgot to notify their insurer. A week later, the van was involved in an accident. Their policy uses symbol 7 for liability coverage. Under this symbol, will the accident be covered? A. Yes, if the vehicle is scheduled within 30 days. B. No, symbol 7 covers only autos specifically listed in the policy. C. Yes, because symbol 7 automatically includes newly acquired autos. D. No, symbol 7 applies only to hired autos. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Symbol 7 on the business auto coverage form back means liability coverage applies only to autos specifically described in the policy. Unlike symbol 1 or 2, it does not automatically cover newly acquired autos unless the insurer is notified and endorsement is added. This restriction often surprises insureds, leading to uncovered losses. Rhode Island insurers using ISO forms adhere strictly to these symbol definitions. Symbol 7 is more restrictive and requires active scheduling of new vehicles. Question 12. To better understand valuation methods, George insures his commercial office contents with an actual cash value (ACV) policy. After a covered fire, several outdated computers are destroyed. George expects full reimbursement to replace them with newer models. What is the insurer obligated to pay under ACV terms? A. Full replacement cost of similar new computers. B. Depreciated value based on age and condition. C. The original purchase price of the destroyed computers. D. Market value is determined by third-party assessors. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Actual cash value (ACV) means the insurer will pay the replacement cost minus depreciation for the damage to a destroyed property. The concept aligns with the principle of indemnity, restoring the insured without betterment. Replacement cost policies A must be endorsed and typically cost more. Market value D and original purchase price C are not commonly used valuation methods in commercial property. Unless explicitly stated, SCV is standard in Rhode Island unless replacement cost coverage is specifically requested and paid for. Question 13. By evaluating coverage forms, Thompson Textiles installed a new industrial dryer after a mechanical failure caused overheating and property damage. They file a claim under their standard commercial property policy. The insurer denied the claim. What could have prevented this denial? A. Adding a spoilage endorsement. B. Purchasing equipment breakdown coverage. C. Including a business owner's policy bot. D. Raising the deductible to increase loss limits. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Equipment breakdown coverage, formerly boiler and machinery, covers sudden and accidental mechanical or electrical breakdowns not covered under standard commercial property forms. Property policies typically exclude losses from internal equipment failure unless an external cause is involved. This specialized endorsement or standalone policy fills that gap. Rhode Island insurers recognize this ISO coverage as critical. Businesses with expensive machinery or electronics. The spoilage endorsement A applies to perishable stock, not machinery repair or replacement. Question 14. The development of sound insurance portfolios relies heavily on underwriting. What is the primary goal of the commercial underwriting process? A. To ensure agents write more policies and increase commissions. B. To promote equal coverage across all industries. C. To assess, classify, and price risk accurately. D. To reduce state regulation requirements. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Underwriting involves evaluating the risk profile of an applicant to determine eligibility, pricing, and appropriate coverage terms. It protects the insurer from adverse selection and ensures financial stability. The process must balance risk acceptance with profitability. Under Rhode Island regulations and standard industry practice, insurers must document underwriting decisions and ensure they are non-discriminatory and based on actuarial data. Promoting agent commissions, A, or reducing regulations, D, is not its purpose. Question 15. From multiple perspectives, understanding how a commercial policy is organized is essential. Which section of a standard commercial insurance policy typically includes the obligations of both the insurer and the insured? A. Declarations. B. Insuring agreement. C. Conditions. D. Exclusions. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. The conditions section outlines the duties of both parties, such as the insured's obligation to report claims promptly, maintain property protection, and cooperate with investigations. It also details cancellation rights and policy interpretation rules. The declarations A states facts like names, dates, limits. The insuring agreement B specifies coverage scope. Exclusions D limit what is not covered. Understanding this structure is vital for compliance and preventing claim denials under ISO standard forms used in Rhode Island. Question 16. The prevailing attitude toward privacy regulation, especially after the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act GBA, requires insurance companies in Rhode Island to follow specific consumer data practices. Which of the following is a requirement under GLBA? A. Insurers must encrypt all policy documents. B. Insurers must provide annual privacy notices to customers. C. Insurers must allow full access to all customer records. D. Insurers must publicly post consumer complaints. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Under the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act GLBA, insurers must give consumers an annual privacy notice outlining what personal financial information is collected, how it's shared, and how it's protected. Consumers must also be given the right to opt out of certain sharing with non-affiliated third parties. Encryption is good practice but not statutory requirement. Full access C and public posting D are not of the DLBA, Rhode Island and Norse GLBA through state regulations applicable to all licensees. Question 17. In light of recent developments, KLM Manufacturing has seen a spike in insurance premiums even though it hasn't filed any claims. Their insurer explains it's due to increased fire risk and changes in occupancy classification. What best explains this premium increase? A. Premiums are solely based on loss history. B. Underwriters adjusted rating based on reinsurance rates. C. Rating considers exposure units, classification, and risk factors. D. Insurers are not allowed to raise premiums unless claims are filed. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Commercial insurance premiums are calculated using various factors, including exposure units, occupancy classification, location, and risk factors like fire suppression or business operations. Loss experience is just one factor. Classification changes, e.g., from low risk to high risk industry, can significantly affect premiums. Rhode Island permits rate adjustments based on actuarial justification following fire land use or prior approval systems depending on the line. Reinsurance, B, may influence market trends but isn't direct rating component for single policy. Question 18. A critical examination of peril-based coverage reveals differences in protection levels. A commercial bakery insures its property under the basic causes of loss form and experiences water damage due to roof leakage after ice damming. Is the loss likely covered? A. Yes, water damage is always covered under basic form. B. No, water seepage from ice dams is not covered under basic form. C. Yes, but only if sewer backup coverage is endorsed. D. No, because commercial policies never cover water damage. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The basic causes of loss form provides limited coverage, mainly for named perils like fire, windstorm, or vandalism. It excludes water seepage, especially from ice damming or wear and tear. This would be covered under the broad or special form if water damage from ice and snow is included. Rhode Island uses ISO's standardized forms where understanding which peril forms apply is crucial to avoid claim denials. Backup, C, is separate and only endorsed. Question 19. The traditional approach to contract law includes understanding what makes an insurance contract enforceable. Which of the following is not a necessary element of a valid commercial insurance contract? A. Mutual agreement. B. Legal purpose. C. Written application. D. Competent parties. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. A written application is not required by law for a contract to be valid. It can be oral or implied in certain cases. The essential elements are offer and acceptance, mutual agreement, consideration, legal purpose, and competent parties. These principles stem from general contract law and are applied under Rhode Island commercial insurance laws. Most insurers require written applications for document, but it is procedural formality, not legal necessity for enforceability. Question 20. To illustrate this point, Emily owns a Rhode Island firm. A competitor sues her company, claiming they falsely advertised that the competitor was bankrupt, causing reputational damage. Which section of his CGL policy might respond to this lawsuit? A. Coverage. C. Medical payments. B. Coverage. Bodily injury and property damage. C. Coverage. B. Personal and advertising injury. D. Coverage. D. Errors and omissions. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Coverage B of the commercial general liability policy includes protection for personal and advertising injuries such as libel, slander, or disparagement of another's goods or services. False bankruptcy claims would qualify as publication of material that slanders or disparages, meeting the definition under AUSA CG 01. Medical payments A and bodily injury B do not apply to reputational harm. D is separate professional liability policy, not part of the C deal. Question 21. Given the circumstances, Martin runs a mid-sized retail business and chooses to finance his insurance premiums through a third-party lender. Midway through the term, Martin defaults on his payments to the lender. The insurer has not received premium payments directly. What is the insurer's primary responsibility in this situation under Rhode Island premium financing regulations? A. Cancel the policy immediately without notice. B. Notify both the insured and the premium finance company before cancellation. C. Continue coverage until the end of the policy term regardless of payments. D. Transfer the debt to the insured directly without lender involvement. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Rhode Island laws regulating premium financing require the insurer to provide notice of cancellation to both the insured and the premium finance company before policy termination due to non-payment. This ensures transparency and protects all parties. Immediate cancellation A without notice violates due process. Insurers cannot continue coverage without premium payment. C. Debt transfer. D. Contradict financing agreement. These provisions align with the National Association of Insurance Commissioners NAIC Model Acts. Question 22. Considering the evidence, Lisa's advertising firm carries CGL policy with $1 million per occurrence limit and $2 million aggregate limit. During the year, she faces 3 separate lawsuits for $900,000, $800,000, and $600,000 respectively, all covered under the same policy period. What is the maximum total amount her insurer will pay under the policy? A. $2 million total for all 3 claims combined. B. $1 million per claim without aggregate limits. C. $3.3 million covering all claims fully. D. $1 million total regardless of the number of claims. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. The per occurrence limit caps the insurer's liability for each claim at $1 million. The aggregate limit is the maximum the insurer will pay in total during the policy period, here $2 million. The first 2 claims, $900,000 plus $800,000, total $1.7 million, leaving $300,000 for the third claim, which requested $600,000. Hence, total payments max out the aggregate limit of $2 million. Rhode Island insurers commonly follow our CGO1 form language on limits. Question 23. In the context of risk management, a Rhode Island manufacturing company decides to implement engineering controls to reduce workplace hazards rather than transferring risk through insurance alone. What type of risk management method is this an example of? A. Risk retention. B. Risk avoidance. C. Risk reduction. D. Risk transfer. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Risk reduction involves taking steps to lessen the frequency or severity of losses by improving safety measures or controls, such as engineering changes to equipment or procedures. A risk retention, A, means accepting the loss. Avoidance, B, means eliminating the risk entirely. G, discontinuing an activity. And transfer, D, shifts the risk to an insurer. Rhode Island businesses are encouraged to implement control techniques as part of comprehensive risk management. Question 24. The central argument for having a guarantee association is illustrated when a Rhode Island insurer becomes insolvent, leaving many policyholders without coverage. What role does the Rhode Island Property and Casualty Insurance Guarantee Association play? A. It replaces insolvent insurers with new private insurers. B. It reimburses policyholders and claimants up to statutory limits. C. It increases premiums on all insured statewide. D. It cancels all policies of the insolvent insurer immediately. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The Rhode Island Property and Casualty Insurance Guarantee Association is a statutory safety net that protects policyholders and claimants by paying claims of insolvent insurers up to state-mandated limits. It does not replace insurers. A. Raise premiums directly. C. Or cancel policies outright. D. The association is funded by assessments on solvent insurers licensed in Rhode Island and ensures stability and consumer protection. Question 25. During the process of handling claims, a Rhode Island company is sued by a former employee alleging wrongful termination and discrimination. The company's CGL policy excludes coverage for employment-related practices. Which type of insurance should the company purchase to protect against such claims? A. Workers' compensation insurance. B. Employment practices liability insurance. C. Directors and officers insurance. D. Crime insurance. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation appears designed to cover claims by employees related to wrongful termination, discrimination, harassment, and other employment-related wrongful acts. CGL policies specifically exclude these claims. Workers' compensation A covers workplace injuries, not employment disputes. DOC protects corporate officers from managerial liability. What crime? D covers financial crimes. Rhode Island employers are increasingly advised to carry a plea due to legal exposure. Question 26. When faced with a sudden vacancy, a Rhode Island retail shop owner left her store unoccupied for 75 days without notifying her insurer. During this period, vandalism caused extensive damage. What is the most likely impact on her claim? A. Full claim payment because vacancy doesn't affect commercial policies. B. Claim denial or reduction due to vacancy cause violation. C. Claim payment limited to 50% due to vacancy penalty. D. Coverage extended automatically for 90 days vacancy. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Commercial property policies often include a vacancy clause limiting or excluding coverage if the building is vacant or unoccupied beyond a specified period, commonly 60 days. This clause exists because vacant properties are at higher risk of loss from vandalism, theft, or undetected damage. Failure to notify the insurer of extended vacancy can lead to claim denial or reduced payment. Rhode Island enforce vacancy conditions consistent with ISO policy language. Question 27. Across different scenarios, a large Rhode Island insurer purchases reinsurance to protect itself from catastrophic losses. What is the primary purpose of reinsurance? A. To increase the insurer's profit margins. B. To transfer part of the insurer's risk to another insurer. C. To provide direct coverage to insureds. D. To avoid regulatory oversight. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Reinsurance is insurance for insurers, allowing the ceding insurer to transfer a portion of its risk, especially large or catastrophic exposures, to reinsurer. This improves the insurer's financial stability, risk capacity, and solvency. It does not provide direct coverage to insureds. C. And is unrelated to profit motives. A. Or regulatory avoidance. D. Rhode Island insurers must report reinsurance arrangements as part of solvency monitoring. Question 20. When evaluating insurer behavior, a Rhode Island insurance company knowingly misrepresents policy benefits to close a sale. What type of violation is this considered under state insurance law? A. Rebasing. B. Twisting. C. Misrepresentation. D. Defamation. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Misrepresentation occurs when an insurer or producer provides false or misleading information about a policy's terms, benefits, or coverage to induce sale. This is prohibited under Rhode Island's Unfair Trade Practices Act and can lead to fines, license suspension, or revocation. Rebasing. A. Involves unlawful inducements. Twisting. B. Is replacing policies for profit. And defamation. D. Is damaging repute or are regulated but distinctive violations. Question 29. A critical examination of claims reveals that after a covered fire loss, the insured business experienced a 6-week forced closure. However, the business income claim was reduced because income continued from a secondary location. How does the business income coverage handle such situations? A. Income from any source is fully excluded. B. Income from other business operations offsets the claim. C. Income from secondary locations is ignored. D. The claim is paid in full regardless of other income. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Business income coverage, also known as business interruption, pays for lost income during the period of restoration net of any income received from operations elsewhere or other sources. This prevents overcompensation and aligns with indemnity principles. Rhode Island policies typically follow ISO standards, requiring insureds to document actual loss of income net of such offsets. Question 30. For many years, the legal requirement of consideration has been fundamental in contract law. In commercial insurance contract, what constitutes consideration from the insured? A. Payment of the premium or promise to pay. B. Signing the policy document. C. Submitting proof of loss. D. Acceptance of the policy by the insurer. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Consideration is something of value exchanged between parties. From the insured, it is typically the premium payment or promise to pay. From the insurer, it is the promise to indemnify against covered losses. Signing the policy. B. Or submitting proof of loss. C. Are procedural steps, and acceptance. D. Is part of mutual agreement, not consideration. Rhode Island contract law, consistent with generally principle, upholds this element.